how I stay mentally strong in pickleball. Pickleball is a very mental sport. It requires a lot of mental strength and even more so stamina. You've got to be able to perform for a long duration mentally. And if you struggle with, maybe getting upset or lack of focus or bad decision making, which we all do at times, this is a great video for you because we're going to be talking about some techniques and strategies I use to stay mentally strong on the pickleball court at the pro level. Let's jump into it. A lot of you guys have asked for this video, comment after comment, for months and months, and I've been waiting to make this video. I've been waiting until I better handled my mental game to make this video, and I've spent a lot of time, I've read a lot of books, I've have a lot of experience handling mental stress on the court. I'm super excited to, put this down into a list. The list I have today is going to consist of 6 parts. Number 2 is the technique that I do on the court, and number 6 is something I wish I knew a lot sooner, and I wish I started doing way earlier than I did. So let's jump into it. Number 1. So I could argue that this is actually the most important of anything on the list. If I ever, don't complete this, I always notice if I'm not doing number 1. So it's super important, and it is be prepared. It might sound simple, but there's a saying, it's failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And it's so true. If I go on a court for a match and I don't bring my paddle, I'm already at a huge disadvantage. So I need to, make sure I have my paddle. But even more than that, I need to make sure that my paddles are gripped or leaded up. I need to make sure that I have, a backup paddle in case something happens to my first one. And then, that's just paddles. Being prepared goes way deeper than this. It's, did I hydrate the day before? Did I eat a healthy breakfast? Did I go to bed at the same time? Did I warm up? Did I drink enough water? I think I already said that. But being prepared is everything you do. And when I step on a court and I know that I'm fully prepared, and I know that I've done everything I can do up until that point to prepare me for that match, there's very little pressure. There's very little questioning that takes place on the court as far as my mental game, because I know I'm ready. If I've been training super hard, if every decision I make is for pickleball, I don't have to wonder when I step on a court, what if? Could I have done this? And this took me years of learning and trial and error and playing a match and not having changed my grip. And then halfway through the match, my grip's really sweaty. I have to change my grip and I'm rushed and I don't do a good job. And now I'm just upset and now I'm thinking about my grip. That's not good. I've played matches where, I didn't eat enough food the day before, or I didn't drink enough water the day before, and now I'm feeling it. I have matches where, I stayed up an hour or 2 later than I should have, and I'm getting 7 hours of sleep instead of 8 or 9. And it's just every time I lose, I think, what could I have done more? And if I lose and it's very clear what I could have done more, that's not good. So be prepared. For you, it might be not showing up late. It might be bringing a couple waters, or it might be doing your stretches, or if you want to warming up before you play for 2 hours. Hey, warm up. Make sure you do whatever you need to do to be prepared. And I promise you, it does wonders for the mental, because you're going to be so much more confident and comfortable because you are prepared. Lesson number 2. This is what I do on the court every single time I play a match, not getting upset, because that's something we all struggle with. If you miss a ball in the net, you want to get upset, you want to get angry, or there's a part of you that has that, you're upset about it. So how do we overcome that? How do I overcome that? Because I struggled with getting upset a lot. And, I'm not perfect, but I've definitely gotten a lot better. And this is the technique I use. I learned it from a book called It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Mowad. So basically, the entire book is about one key principle that really stuck with me all this time, and it's staying neutral, okay? I know you might like what does that mean, staying neutral? Well, it's actually pretty simple. When you are playing a match, you can either be happy or sad or somewhere in between. It's not realistic to be happy 24/7, nor should you be happy the entire time. If you're playing a match and you're down 7-0 in the first game, there's nothing to be happy about. I'm sorry, but there's absolutely nothing to be happy about. But at the same time, you don't want to be mad or upset. Because if you're mad or you're upset, it will affect your performance. I promise you, it will affect your performance negatively. Because negative internal emotions are going to have a negative external effect. So what this book taught me and what I've been doing is staying neutral. It's that place where you're down 7-0, you don't need to be happy, but you have to tell yourself you can't be mad. You have to be neutral. And he in the book uses a car for an example. So imagine you're in a car and you're in reverse. Going from reverse to forward is very, very hard. But if you're in neutral, you can go forward easily. And that's the best way it was for me to understand this, that if I'm upset and I'm negative, it's a lot harder to go from being negative to positive than it is to go from neutral to positive, like a ton harder. Your car is going to stall if you go from reverse to forward, if without going to neutral first. So super important lesson there. If you take one thing from this video, that's what I would take. That's what has helped me so much. If you guys are younger kids and you're really trying to control your emotions and play your best and just handle the mental game, which is something that I've personally dealt with a lot, try this, okay? Try being neutral, all right? And in number 3, this next one, I have a technique to help stay neutral. Number 3, this is another technique that I learned from this book. It takes what it takes. It's not a main point or theme of the book, but it's one thing that stood out to me that I do on the court to help me stay neutral. It goes off of the last lesson that we just learned. This technique is to help you take away emotion from the situation. And what I like to, and the way I'll describe this is you ask yourself 3 questions. What happened? What is happening? What is going to happen? And it's super simple. That's all it is. What happened? What is happening? What is going to happen? If you ask yourself those 3 questions, you can then, be unemotional in your answers, okay? And you can be unemotional in the way you go about figuring out what's happening, what you're going to do, and what has happened. So, for example, if you're down 7-0, you might be wanting to get upset. Ask yourself, what happened? My opponent is playing really well. He's hitting good shots. He or she is hitting good shots. Or, I've missed a lot. I've made a lot of unforced errors. Or, whatever's been happening. Like we've had good points and they just haven't gone in my favor. Whatever has happened has happened. You can't do anything about that. This is the easiest one. What is happening? I'm down 0-7. That's it. Like that's it. That's the entire thing. Like you're down 0-7. Okay. What are you going to do? This is the awesome one because after you've asked yourself what's happened and what is happening, you'll know what you're going to do. It could be as simple as I'm going to keep fighting. It could be I'm going to hit this return cross court. It could be I'm going to drive my third. It could be something super simple like this. It could be I'm going to use more legs in this next point. What are you going to do? All right? And it's that simple. It's what's happened, what is happening, and what are you going to do about it? This really helps me for like the 9-9, 10-9 points if I need it. If I feel like I'm starting to stress out and I need to calm myself down, I'll ask myself, what happened? 9-9, I had a 9-6 lead and, they played a few good points. Now it's 9-9. What is happening? It's 9-9. That's it. Like it really helps you if you lose a lead. This will help you because what is happening is super objective. It's what it is. it's 9-9. So it doesn't matter if you were up 9-2 and now it's 9-9. When you ask yourself what's happening, it's the same as if you were down 2-9 and you brought it back to 9-9. It's 9-9. So it's a really good way to kind of just put whatever has happened in the past and look at what's happening in the present. And then you ask yourself, what are you going to do? 9-9, I'm going to be I'm going to dink a lot this point, all right? I'm going to whatever you want to do. Number 4, and this one helps with number 2 and number 3. You will notice a theme that each one of these mental strategies works together, and that's they all work for each other. So number 4 is breathing. This might sound obvious, and this is something that people told me when I was 10 or 11 and I'd get super frustrated. They were like, work on your breathing. I would work with mental coaches and they're like, work on your breathing, breathe. It was hard for me at that age to kind of just accept how beneficial that was, because I was like, what do you, of course I'm breathing. What do you think, I'm not breathing? I breathe. It's obviously I breathe. But it really is super important to not only breathe, but to make sure you're breathing well. Because if you'll notice, when we get stressed out or nervous, we'll stop breathing. If you're nervous, your body freezes a little bit and you will literally not breathe. You just won't breathe. You'll breathe, you'll stop breathing. And when you're relaxed, you're like, and that is just true. That is just the way we are as people. And on top of that, if you're playing a match and you're stressed out and now you're not breathing and now you're breathing abnormally, your body has to not only deal with the stress, but now it has to deal with your irregular breathing, which is making it harder for your body to gain energy. So it's actually compounding the stress and the lack of breath and the abnormality of your breaths are compounding negatively. Whereas if you're stressed out and you really take a second to it will help your body gain energy. It will help your body recover and gain energy. And on top of that, it's going to help your mind calm down. And when I'm trying to stay neutral, it's super simple to just stay neutral, all right? Let's go. Just if you're upset and if you've been upset, that's going to hurt you way more than it's going to help you. So breathing will help the last two things, and it will also help your body calm down and get the breaths and energy and all of that it needs. So breathing is super important, and if you think it's not, wait until any moment in your life where you're a little stressed or scared or anything like that, and you'll notice your breathing stops or slows down a lot. Okay, so really, and if you need any help breathing, there's a good thing, you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 2 seconds, and then you breathe out for 4 seconds. So really slow, in through the nose, hold it, out through the mouth. That's how you breathe. All right, number 5. This is something I do in pro matches all the time, and I've seen some other players do it too. It's a really good strategy, and it's take your time in between points. If you just lost a point, you don't want to start the next point super quickly. You actually want to take a little bit of time before the next point. And on the contrary, if you've won a point, you actually want to start the next point very quickly because you want to keep the momentum going. And I'm including this in what we can do mentally, because taking time, going to your towel in between points, it gives you time to do what we've talked about. It gives you time to breathe, it gives you time to get neutral, it gives you time to ask yourself the questions, what's happened, what is happening, what are we going to do about it, all right? Really utilize times. There's a great saying in tennis and just sports, it's win fast, lose slow. And I really try and live by that, you'll see some players like they play super quick when they're winning. And you have time in pickleball at the pro level, definitely at the community level, definitely at the recreational level. You have time to just take 25 seconds, take 20 seconds. You have time in between each point. Use that time, all right? You don't take like 2 minutes, but like, take time that you need, all right? All right, number 6, we're gonna end here. This is so important for the mental game, and it is shot selection and discipline. It's the first one where I've just come out and said what it is right away. And this took me like a year to really figure out. And this matters so much more in pickleball than it does in tennis for me. In tennis, I would play big points aggressively. I would, take risks on those big points. I would try not to just push. Like those are the points where I really want to, go for it. Whereas in pickleball, on the big points, you actually don't want to take risks, because a risk in tennis and a risk in pickleball are two very different things. A risk in tennis, I can hit like a big forehand and it's not that much of a risk. It's just like, whereas I can hit a speed up at my feet in pickleball, and that's a huge risk because it's not the right ball. It's not the right time. It's not right. So shot selection and discipline. I'm going to explain this one in a story of the beginning of my pickleball career. When I first started playing pickleball, I would play teams that were better than me, just ranking, and, they're like the top 10 teams in the world. And, I didn't have a lot of experience, and I would get very close. I would, it would be like 8-all, 9-all, 10-all in the first game. And for some reason, I kept losing close games just for like 6 months. When I started playing pickleball against like the best teams, I would get really close, and I kept losing and losing and losing the close ones. And I didn't know why I was losing it for so long, but I knew I was losing all the important points. I really noticed that like every single important point, the top pros did something. They knew something that I didn't know. They were doing something that I didn't know. And, I watch a ton of pickleball. I study my game. I study other games. I study the sport. And I figured out that it's pretty simple what these top pros do in these moments, especially against weaker teams. It is shot selection and discipline. If it is 9-9, you don't want to be going for shots that you're not comfortable with. You don't want to be going for shots that haven't been working. Those are the points where it's, it takes mental strength, it takes mental discipline to, maybe not drive the ball when the driving isn't working. Even if you feel more comfortable driving just because you just feel more comfortable hitting a drive. Like, no, in those points, drop the ball and make your opponents play. So, discipline, shot selection, making your opponents play, making them nervous. Discipline in these big moments. And if you are the better team, playing these points with discipline is going to benefit you way more than it's going to benefit your opponents. Shot selection and discipline. Discipline is a whole mental thing, but you could even just say that, shot selection. You're going to sometimes not be playing great, and instead of, going for some crazy shots, simplify your shots. Be more selective with the shots you hit. Be more disciplined with the shots you hit. And that requires mental strength rather than, a tool to help mental strength. So that one's kind of iffy on this list, but I wanted to include it because I thought it was important when I was putting together this list. Anyway, hey, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped. I know you guys have been asking for this video for a long time. So I appreciate that. Real quick, I give away one paddle every month for free. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube and to my newsletter for free. It's absolutely free, and you will have a chance to win one of my paddles. If you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate you giving it a like or even subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate that. If you're new here, thank you so much for watching. Hope you subscribe. And if you want to watch another video where I give advice, I have a video where I give a few lessons of advice to aspiring pro pickleball players. So make sure to check that out. Thank you so much. Until next time.